You're listening to the Vortex Podcast, featuring interviews with your favorite artists. Here's your host, Ethan Jackson.
Hey, it's Ethan. Today, our special guest, of course, is Wolfgang Van Halen. His project Mammoth WVH, 2 albums out now. Wolfie, that sophomore project came out back in August, I think it was. How's the ride been since then?
It's been crazy. It's been fun to go on our sort of second time around and to be returning to places that we played on the first album. It's very exciting.
One thing I want to ask you about is you played for the first time in a concert setting, not like a TV performance or something like that, in Lawrence, about 30 minutes away from here at the
Yeah.
Bottleneck. I was lucky enough to be at that show. Why was Lawrence the place that you picked for your first show?
I think it was the perfect. We played two shows. We played one there, and then we played one near Chicago, and they were the perfect two places on the routing to get to Hershey, which was our first show with Guns N' Roses. Which is very hilarious to think our third show ever was opening for Guns N' Roses. But it just the way routing worked, it was perfect. The Bottleneck was perfect for that first show. It just totally worked out.
That's awesome. And it was a super memorable night for, I don't know, the 500 or 600 people that got to pack in there. Super great. Maybe
Crazy. I was sweating bullets. That was so nerve-wracking.
No, it was awesome. You mentioned the Guns N' Roses deal. So far, you've been on tour with GNR, Metallica. That tour is not even wrapped up yet. And then you just announced the Creed tour for this fall as well. How crazy has it been to have some of these kind of, I don't know, massive legacy bands invite you out and give you the shot to open up the show and get them warmed up?
It's an honor, I think, considering that to just to continue to be continued to get asks to open for these crazy tours is a huge honor. For it must mean that we were at least good enough to them. So it's an exciting honor to be able to open for bands like Metallica and Guns N' Roses and now Foo Fighters and then Creed and it's crazy. I'm kind of waiting to wake up, I guess.
On top of all the opening stuff that you guys do as well, you've got, headline tours getting ready to kick off. You've got headline dates in the US and overseas, I believe, this year. I was actually looking at your website, the calendar. I think you've got what, October and December off, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's pretty full. It's very weird to be sitting and looking at your schedule and being like, wow, my whole year is pretty much decided for me already.
Right. How does that work being newly married? Is your wife, is she cool with it? Is she coming on the road with you? How's that gonna work
I
out?
think I think she knows what she signed up for, given the territory of the job.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful being home for the last 2 months and kind of relaxing and enjoying married life. But I think it just depends on the run, So this next one is super quick, so she's probably not going to come out for this one, but we'll look at Europe and see what's comfortable. I know my mom always wants to try and fly out to every show, so they usually come in together and stuff. It'll be fun.
That's awesome. How has married life been treating you the last couple of months?
Wonderful. I think if you find the right person, it shouldn't change at all. It just continues to be as amazing as it was before. And so far, I think I found the right person.
That's awesome. Do you guys have any pets?
We do not.
Okay.
I'm a big animal fan, but I am allergic.
Oh
Um,
no.
I love going over to my mom's house. She has like 6 cats. But I always just take a Zyrtec before I go over and just get my fill of cats and then use the hair roller and get all the cat hair off and go home.
There you go. Well, back to the time off, the short time off, limited time off you do have. Is that time off really time off, or are you like working on new tunes during that time, or do you actually kick back and relax a little bit?
December from the 9th to New Year's or to January 4th, that was legit time off. We did nothing and it was the best. But then starting this year, kind of the month of January, I was kind of working on some preliminary sort of Mammoth 3, looking in that direction of the next album. Super early, but just kind of preparing my mental capacity for writing for the future.
Right. With the next project, are you hoping to have a little bit more time to work on it? Because from what I understand, Mammoth 2 had to come together rather quickly.
Yes, I could always use a bit more time. Not how the first album, I did it over like 3 years. But the second album was only about a month and a half, 2 months. So I think we found this cool new structure, depending on how our schedule fills out, do kind of month here, month there. And, by the end of the year, maybe we get, 2 to 3 months of work done over the course of time. And of course, while I'm on the road, I can always be writing demos and stuff and kind of preparing uh, for that. So yeah, we're definitely trying to squeeze more time out and make it a bit more comfortable than Mammoth 2 was.
For sure. And you aren't just busy with Mammoth stuff. You've also been out there honoring some other legends as well. You took part in the John Bon Jovi Music Cares event, the Grammy weekend, and I believe performed that weekend as well. How is that being invited to, honor John?
It was a crazy honor to be a small part in the incredible show with all the amazing artists that were there. It was incredibly nerve-wracking. I don't think I've been that nervous for something in a very long time. Having Bon Jovi request a Bon Jovi song for you to play, uh, to play it in front of the whole band is I remember I shared a moment with my guitar player John right before we started playing. We just kind of looked at each other before the spotlights hit us, just kind of going, I guess we're doing this. and and then I looked up and Mr. Bon Jovi's table was kind of lit up a little bit more so you could see where he was. And it was him, Bruce Springsteen, and Paul McCartney watching us, which was that just kind of luckily I remembered all the lyrics, remembered how to play it. But boy, that was I was very, very nervous.
That's definitely quite the audience. I always wondered when people go on shows like The Voice or American Idol or whatever, and they decide to do a song by one of the judges, like what's going through their head making that decision that, hey, this is a good idea. The first impression is
That
going to
takes
be a song that they wrote.
that takes some confidence for sure. I don't know if I'll ever have that amount of confidence.
Well, hey, you just launched a signature guitar, which I am personally not a guitar player. I have no musical talent whatsoever, so I talk about music because we love it anyway. But you just launched the SA-126 on your dad's birthday. How fitting. And I'm curious, like, what all went into creating your signature guitar? How long did you have to go through the different demos and prototypes and all of that stuff?
This is a product of about 4 years of development, and born out of the necessity, one for my desire to not exactly follow my dad's path in terms of gear and sound. Like obviously the amps are incredible, so I'll keep using those. But I gravitated to a sort of a semi-hollow sound when I started establishing Mammoth and recording it. That since EVH gear doesn't offer something like that, especially with a stop tail bridge as opposed to a Floyd Rose. It was important to figure that out and see what we could do within EVH. And after a lot of working together with Matt Bruck and Chip Ellis, our master builder, we came up with a few prototypes, and I started playing them live, crash testing, as my dad used to put it. And After years of playing and tweaking and getting it better and refining the build process and pickups and specific woods and everything, we're finally at the time where we can talk about it, and it'll be releasing in May. So I'm so excited for people to get it in their hands because it's a remarkable instrument.
I mean, it looks gorgeous. I know the one that you were playing in like the demo video has the Mammoth logo on it. Is
Yeah.
that one that people are going to be able to buy, or is that an exclusive to Wolfie?
No, that is an exclusive to Wolfie. Maybe down the line if I do an official like signature model, sure that could be a possibility. But the regular models that people will get will just have regular inlays instead of the Mammoth logo.
Yeah, that's still cool, man. I noticed the Meshuggah shirt. You talk about those guys a lot when
Probably too much.
talking about the new project. What are some other heavy bands that like you're into that you just really vibe with?
Periphery. I like Periphery a lot. Good buddies with those dudes, Misha, and they're all really, really great dudes. I think Matt from Periphery might be the one of the best drummers alive right now. He's absolutely insane. But yeah, Meshuggah, Periphery. I'm a big fan of Intervals a lot. Aaron Marshall is probably one of my favorite guitarists around right now. And the fact that we are touring with them after we get back from Europe is a crazy honor. It'll be an honor to just be blown off the stage by them every night. It'll be so exciting. I'll be there every night in the crowd watching. He's also an incredibly nice dude. I'm really excited to hear their new album. But yeah, I mean, gosh, one of my favorite albums of all time is Sound Awake by Carnival. If you're familiar, Carnival is an amazing band. But everything from Tool to, yeah, I just I love all kinds of music. I think when you grow up, if it sounds good, it is good. There's not really any guilty pleasures anymore. It's just kind of anything that you can enjoy and find enjoyment out of is worth it.
Absolutely. I think some people get a little scared maybe at first, but dipping their toe in because it can be pretty abrasive. But when you really, dive into it, there's a lot of layers and a lot to love in heavier genres of music. And so I think it's cool that you're kind of bringing that to light a little bit, even with your project, which isn't Meshuggah heavy, but it's definitely inspired by.
Yeah, there's some bits where it's just like kind of that through my lens. I think like in the song Right, the first song on Mammoth 2, there's almost like a genty kick drum pattern after the solo, just little influences like that where it's like, that's what it looks like through the Mammoth lens, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thank you so much for spending some time chatting today. We really appreciate it. And looking forward to seeing you in Kansas City on Friday. And then again later on this year with Creed and Three Doors Down. So thanks so much, man.
Hi, man. Thank you so much for talking.
Thanks for listening to the Vortex Podcast. Catch Ethan inside the Vortex every Sunday night from 9 to midnight on Topeka's Rock Leader, V100.